Yeah. Working with founders is incredibly different than working with a professional CEO. Worked with all of them. So usually the problem is if you're a startup CPO, somebody else owned the product before you. If it's a professional CEO, and I've worked with a couple that own them recently, I love professional CEOs because they're literally like, I don't know product. Can you tell me like what's happening? And like they leave you alone to go do your job. When you work with founders, it's like that's their baby and they have a lot on the line. And that's the first thing you need to recognize. Like, I don't think people understand how much founders have on the line. And especially like compensation wise, when we're looking at this, they're like, well, why don't they just give it up? Like, it's usually a lot of money invested in the founders and building this thing out personally. And also like a lot of time, it's the thing they've been thinking about 24/7. It is their whole world. And if you come in there and you're just like, your world is crap, I'm going to change it and like take over this product, they're not going to react well to that. So like when you're building the trust of a founder, the biggest thing is like, I know this is your baby and I'm here to help you grow your baby. And that's what I want to do. Like, I want to make sure that this is as successful as possible. And I know you invested a lot in it. And I probably don't have as deep of a knowledge as you do because you obsess about this 24/7. So let me be the person who helps you think about this in different ways, right? Like I will be the person who can like spark some fresh ideas for you or like, you know, help you see things from all different angles. Let me take some of the burden off your plate, but this is your baby. This is your vision. I'm going to help you achieve your vision at all costs. That's the conversation you need to have with founders, especially in a startup. It's like, this is your vision. This is your rodeo. I'm just here to help you execute to the best of my ability against your vision. And that's really what you're doing as a startup CPO. Now, when the company scales, and it's hard too, I will say one thing, like I have a lot of empathy for startup founders because like one thing, they probably have never done this before. And you have to remember that. Like a professional CEO usually has been a CEO or a COO or something at large companies over and over and over again. They have done that job a million times before they usually walk into the organization. A founder CEO is usually a first-time CEO. It's their first time running an organization. It's their first time raising money. It's their first time doing any of those things. If they're a serial entrepreneur, you tend to see differences in working with them. But like if it's their first time, they're learning too. So it's like you got to learn together. It's like have some empathy for that, help them get to where they need to go with it. But I think sometimes we get like, they won't let go, they won't let me do my job or whatever when you're a startup CPO. It's because they just they don't know what they should be doing. And I honestly see that in a lot of first-time CPOs, a lot of first-time CEOs for any size company, right? Whether they're a founder or not, if you were in that role for the first time, sometimes you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So what you do is you gravitate back towards what you know how to do. And a lot of them knew how to do product. A lot of them were in product management. A lot of them started their company doing the product. So that's where you have to kind of like do the interfaces is like establish a trust by really deeply empathizing with them and understanding where they came from, not getting super upset when they, you know, tip their toes into it and just like being like, yeah, it's going to happen. Like I guarantee you it's going to happen. And then two, helping them ask the right questions to help steer them for what you need. Hey, I really need to understand our market a little bit better. Like we've got a couple of choices here to go after from a product strategy perspective. Here's the data. Here's this. This is your rodeo. Which way do we want to go? Do you want to go like talk to some of our customers and understand and make a decision on that? Because that will help us align, right? Like be the person who asks the questions to get what you need out of them, and it'll help steer them in the right direction to go do the work that you need them to do to set the direction and the guidelines that you need. So I like try to manage up whenever I manage, you know, executives. I like ask them the questions that I need the information on. And if they don't know the answer, they usually go get it. And then that helps steer them in the right direction.
Yeah, so true, Melissa, especially thinking about it, your CEO, regardless is a founder or CEO, in the end, those are your stakeholders. So find out what motivates them, what are the gaps and how you work together. So the skills you need, the soft skill you need is the same, except you work with a different segments of stakeholders, so to speak, different type of maturity, different motivation. So wow, it's amazing. So in the end, we at the end of this session, we were putting additional resource and contact to Melissa so that we'll be able to direct more questions over. But this is